In the hustle and bustle of life, "I'm fine" is a seemingly harmless phrase that hides a world of inner conflict. A woman may smile, her eyes distant, her voice soft, but her hands are slightly clenched, and the tiredness in the corners of her eyes say otherwise. It is an insecurity covered by a calm appearance, an undercurrent hidden under the peaceful surface. She may be tired, sad, struggling to fulfill a series of roles. Devoted mother, meticulous employee, patient wife, attentive friend. Every day, she takes on many roles, each requiring resilience, patience, and sacrifice. But instead of telling the truth, she chooses the two words, "I'm fine," not because everything is fine, but because telling the truth is too difficult, too long, too tiring. "I'm fine" is a defense mechanism. It is a way to avoid judgment, to not become a burden, to continue to exist in a society that has little patience with negative emotions. She does not speak out, not because she does not want to be heard, but because she is too used to no one really listening. It can also be an indirect cry for help, small, quiet, sent to those who are sensitive enough to realize, patient enough to stay. So when a woman says, "I'm fine," do not believe it. Look a little deeper, a little more gently. Maybe she is just waiting for someone who really wants to understand, wants to be with her, not to fix anything, but simply to listen and make her feel like she no longer has to be strong alone. "I'm fine," the most loved lie. The seemingly innocuous phrase, "I'm fine," is far more than just a polite response. For many women, it's a deeply ingrained and intricately woven tapestry of self-preservation, societal conditioning, and a profound fear of vulnerability. It's a linguistic chameleon, adapting to hide a spectrum of emotions, from subtle discomfort to profound despair, effectively becoming the most loved, and paradoxically, the most isolating lie. Fan 1, a sophisticated and common defense mechanism. Beyond a mere casual reply, "I'm fine" functions as a highly sophisticated and common defense mechanism meticulously crafted and employed by countless women. Imagine it as a form of emotional camouflage, a protective layer akin to soft yet remarkably sturdy armor, designed to shield them from perceived threats of further emotional hurt or overwhelming exposure. When a woman utters those two words, she's actively constructing an invisible wall, a meticulously erected barrier that prevents others from peering into the vulnerability, the raw, unfiltered emotions, and the often turbulent inner world that lies hidden beneath the surface. This isn't merely about avoiding direct confrontation. It's a strategic retreat from a multitude of uncomfortable scenarios. It's a shield against intrusive questions that might dig too deep, forcing them to articulate pain they're not ready to confront. It's a deflection against unwanted advice, which, however well-intentioned, can feel dismissive or invalidating when one simply needs to be heard. And perhaps most powerfully, it's a formidable barrier against the sting of judgment from others, a fear deeply rooted in a lifetime of social conditioning. Women, often implicitly and explicitly, learn to become silent warriors, internalizing the immense pressure to manage their emotional landscapes independently. They quietly bear an immense weight of emotional burdens, believing or having been taught that revealing distress would be a bother, an imposition, or even a sign of weakness that might alienate those around them. This defense mechanism, while seemingly protective, often leads to a profound sense of isolation, trapping them within their own unexpressed pain. 2. The deep-seated fear of being judged. At the very core of why women often choose to say, "I'm fine," lies a pervasive and deeply unsettling fear of being judged. This isn't just a fleeting worry. It's a profound anxiety born from societal narratives and personal experiences. The unspoken question that haunts many women is, will speaking my true feelings be perceived as weakness, a nuisance, or an indication of being overly sensitive? This internal monologue is a direct echo of the lessons absorbed from an early age. From childhood, countless girls are subtly, and sometimes overtly, taught to embody a specific set of virtues, to be well-behaved, to endure hardship gracefully, and crucially, to not make a big deal out of things. This conditioning subtly yet powerfully communicates that overt displays of distress or vulnerability are undesirable. Society, through its media, cultural archetypes, and everyday interactions, frequently defines an ideal woman as someone perpetually strong, remarkably resilient, and effortlessly capable of overcoming all difficulties without a single complaint. This relentless, often invisible pressure creates a pervasive belief that expressing any form of negative emotion, be it sadness, frustration, anger, or fear, is tantamount to a sign of personal failure or inadequacy. The stakes are incredibly high. Women often fear that if they dare to reveal their struggles, their authentic, not fineness, they risk being looked down upon, deemed incapable, or, even more devastatingly, being abandoned or deemed less worthy of love and acceptance than when they meticulously maintain their fine facade. This fear is a powerful inhibitor, forcing genuine emotion into hiding and perpetuating the cycle of the loved lie. 3. The overwhelming burden of societal expectations, the strong woman ideal. Modern society, with its relentless pace and idealized portrayals, relentlessly glorifies the image of the strong woman. This ubiquitous archetype is typically depicted as someone who effortlessly excels at work, impeccably manages the home, who is perpetually resilient, always cheerful, and exudes unwavering positivity. These often unrealistic expectations aren't just abstract concepts. They manifest as a concrete and immense pressure on women in their daily lives. They feel compelled to constantly present themselves as individuals who can handle every aspect of their existence with an almost superhuman level of perfection, leaving no room for a hint of flaw, a moment of fatigue, or any visible sign of struggle. Consequently, the phrase, "I'm fine," transforms into a meticulously rehearsed role, a performance honed over years, becoming the perfect mask for public consumption. This facade isn't just about personal comfort. It's a strategic tool wielded to gain approval, earn praise, and secure acceptance within their social and professional spheres. The underlying fear is profound. If they fail to uphold this image, if they aren't consistently fine in every facet of their lives, they genuinely fear that they will fall short of the exacting standards society imposes. This perceived failure could lead to being seen as lacking, incompetent, or simply not enough in a world that demands effortless perfection. The burden of this expectation is exhausting, forcing women to disconnect from their authentic feelings and contribute to a pervasive culture where vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness, further cementing "I'm fine" as a deeply entrenched and often self-sacrificing response. What hides behind "I'm fine"? The seemingly simple declaration of "I'm fine" is often a meticulously constructed facade, a protective shield behind which a complex tapestry of unspoken struggles and hidden emotions resides. It's a testament to the internal battles many women fight daily, choosing silence over vulnerability and self-sufficiency over seeking solace. 1. The weight of unexpressed exhaustion. Beneath the placid surface of "I'm fine" often lies a profound and unexpressed exhaustion. Women today navigate a labyrinth of roles and responsibilities: the demanding professional, the nurturing mother, the supportive partner, the dutiful daughter, the diligent homemaker. Each role comes with its own set of expectations, often leading to an overwhelming accumulation of tasks and emotional labor. They are constantly striving for perfection, aiming to excel in every sphere, to manage every detail flawlessly. Yet this relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal inevitably leads to exhaustion reaching its peak, a physical and mental depletion that gnaws at their very core. However, instead of openly communicating their fatigue, their weariness, or their sheer overwhelm, they instinctively reach for "I'm fine." Why? Because a deep-seated fear often dictates their response. The fear of becoming a burden to someone else. They may genuinely believe that their struggles will only add to the worries of loved ones, or that expressing fatigue will be perceived as a sign of weakness or inefficiency in a society that values ceaseless productivity. This internal dialogue often reinforces the notion that no one truly wants to hear complaints. They've been taught, implicitly or explicitly, to be the pillars of strength, the resilient ones who can shoulder any load. So even as their spirits are crumbling, as their energy reserves are depleted, they continue to tell themselves they must be strong, they must endure, and they must overcome it on their own. This silent endurance, while seemingly noble, can lead to chronic stress, burnout, and a profound sense of isolation. as their inner turmoil remains hidden from the very people who might offer support. 2. The scar tissue of unhealed wounds. When a woman says, "I'm fine," it can also be a meticulously draped veil, concealing deep and often unhealed wounds that continue to fester beneath the surface. These aren't always fresh cuts. Sometimes they are old, chronic aches from past traumas and disappointments that have never been fully acknowledged or processed. It might be the persistent scar tissue from a broken relationship that left her feeling shattered and unloved, undermining her sense of self-worth. It could stem from a tumultuous and emotionally hurtful connection with parents or a partner, leaving lingering feelings of inadequacy, rejection, or betrayal. Or perhaps it's the quiet grief of abandoned dreams and unfulfilled ambitions, aspirations that were sacrificed for others, or simply never had the chance to blossom. These wounds, whether recent or decades old, continue to ache within, a constant, low-level throb of emotional pain. Yet the woman dares not expose them. The fear is multi-layered. She might dread that if she opens up, those wounds will bleed again, raw and exposed, overwhelming her with the very pain she has so carefully suppressed. There's also the anxiety that her pain might be met with misunderstanding, dismissiveness, or even judgment from others who lack the capacity for empathy. She might believe that revealing these vulnerabilities would make her appear weak, damaged, or simply too much for others to handle. So with unwavering resolve, she clings to that pain, carefully wrapping it in the impermeable facade of "I'm fine," meticulously trying to live as if nothing is wrong, as if the past holds no sway over her present. This constant suppression, however, prevents true healing, allowing the wounds to deepen and impact her well-being in insidious ways. 3. The paradoxical weight of unseen loneliness. Perhaps one of the most poignant truths hidden behind "I'm fine" is the pervasive and often unseen loneliness that many women experience. This is not merely the physical absence of others. It's a deep-seated, agonizing sense of emotional isolation that can exist even when they are surrounded by bustling crowds, engaged in lively conversations with friends, collaborating with colleagues, or embraced by their families. The irony is striking. Despite being seemingly connected to many, they feel profoundly disconnected from a genuine, empathetic understanding. "I'm fine" becomes an invisible wall, a meticulously constructed barrier that inadvertently separates them from the outside world, creating a solitary fortress around their true selves. They dare not express their true thoughts and feelings, the fears that gnaw at them, the anxieties that keep them awake at night, the quiet desperation they might feel. This reluctance stems from a profound apprehension of being misunderstood, rejected, or simply feeling that no one can truly comprehend their inner landscape. They worry that their authentic self might be too messy, too complicated, or too burdensome for others to embrace. This lack of deep emotional connection, this absence of a soul-level understanding, is what defines their loneliness. They become accustomed to fighting their inner battles alone, internalizing the belief that their struggles are theirs alone to bear. The "I'm fine" mantra reinforces this isolation, ensuring that no one truly sees the depth of their feelings, leaving them to navigate their complex emotional terrain without a trusted confidant to share with or lean on. The consequences of always being fine, constantly hiding true emotions and pretending to be fine, can lead to serious consequences, affecting not only mental health, but also women's relationships. 1. No one knows they're hurting. When a woman always appears fine, those around her won't realize that she's struggling or enduring pain. They will assume that everything is going smoothly and therefore won't förförsämnas kan offer the necessary support or help. This makes the woman feel even more isolated, forced to face her problems alone. The lack of understanding and external support further reinforces the belief that showing vulnerability is unacceptable, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. 2. Suppressed emotions erupting. Emotions are like a flow. If suppressed for too long, they will find unhealthy ways to erupt. Constantly holding back sadness, anger, or frustration can lead to severe mental health issues like depression, anxiety, or irrational outbursts. The body and mind will speak up when emotions are suppressed to their limit, manifesting through emotional burnout, insomnia, or unexplained physical symptoms. The superficial fine is just a temporary solution, hiding the problem rather than addressing its root. 3. Losing connection with themselves. When women become too accustomed to playing the role of someone always fine, they gradually lose the ability to identify and connect with their own true emotions. They become alienated from their own pain, sadness, or anger. This can lead to them no longer knowing what they truly want, what they need, and how they truly feel. This disconnect with their inner selves makes them live an inauthentic, unfulfilled life, often feeling empty or lost. They become talented actors on the stage of life, but lose their true selves behind the curtain, healing, learning. It's okay not to be fine. Recognizing and accepting that you don't always have to be fine is the first and most crucial step on the path to healing. This is a process that requires courage and patience, but will lead to a more authentic and meaningful life. 1. Permit yourself to speak your truth. Start by allowing yourself to speak your truth, even if it's just to yourself. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm fine," try saying, "I'm tired. I'm not okay today. I'm feeling sad." This isn't complaining. It's being honest with yourself, acknowledging what's happening within. Practicing honesty will help release emotional pressure and open the door to the healing process. You don't always have to be strong. Sometimes vulnerability is true strength. 2. Choose the right people to not be fine. With you don't need to share your true feelings with everyone. It's crucial to choose the right people. those who make you feel safe and understood. This could be a close friend, a trusted family member, or a mental health professional. Seek out those who can listen without judgment, who can be there for you even when you're not fine. A few quality relationships where you can be yourself are worth far more than many superficial ones where you constantly have to pretend. 3. Write a journal. Name your sorrows. Writing an emotional journal is a gentle yet effective way to start being honest with yourself. When you put pen to paper and write down your thoughts and feelings, you're allowing them to be expressed in a safe way. You can name your sadness, anger, frustration, or any emotion that exists within. This helps you better identify what you're going through, and from there, you can find healthy ways to cope and process them. An emotional journal is a private space for you to be completely yourself without fear of judgment. 4. Seek therapy or a healing community. Don't hesitate to seek professional help if you find it too difficult to overcome on your own. Seeking therapy is not a sign of weakness, but an act of strength and courage. A therapist can provide you with tools and a safe space to explore emotions, process old wounds, and build healthy coping mechanisms. Additionally, joining healing communities where people with similar experiences can share and support each other is also a valuable resource. There's no need to wait until you collapse before seeking help. Prioritizing mental health should be as important as physical health. Conclusion: you don't need to be fine to be loved. I'm fine is a beautiful role to play, but it's also a lonely one. Behind that perfect facade, women are silently bearing burdens that no one knows about. You, the strong, resilient, and loving woman, deserve to be loved, whether you're joyfully radiant, sadly hurting, or even irritable and upset. You don't need to constantly pretend to be fine, to be accepted or loved. The truth is, it's your vulnerability, your emotional authenticity that makes you more human, more relatable, and more lovable. Allow yourself to live authentically, to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, and to feel every spectrum of emotion that life brings. Take off the "I'm fine" mask and let your true self shine, because you don't need to be fine to be loved.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.